This video is about how to determine the Copeland winner of an election. So in the Copeland method, we do the following. We find the winner of every head-to-head comparison, assign points based on the results, and, not surprisingly, the candidate with the most points wins. Since Copeland method also uses head-to-head comparisons, it's very similar to determining the Condorcet winner of an election. So if you're comfortable finding the Condorcet winner of an election, this method will be pretty easy for you. So here's how we assign the points. The candidate will get 1 point for a win, 0 points for a tie, and -1 points for a loss. So let's look at an example. I'm going to have 4 candidates, as usual. Now since I know that I have to do every single head-to-head comparison, I thought I'd start by listing all of them. That will make my life easier later. So let's start at the beginning with candidate A. I have to compare candidate A with everyone else. So we need to do A versus B, A versus C, and A versus D. Now I've got A versus everyone else. So let's move on to candidate B. I have to do B versus A, but if you notice, I've kind of already done that when I did A versus B, so there's no reason to do it again. But I do need to compare B and C and B and D. And now I've compared candidate B with everyone else, so let's move on to looking at candidate C. I've already done candidate C and A, and I've already done C and B, so all that I need to do now is C and D. And this is all the comparisons. But just for a little sanity check, let's look at candidate D. I have compared D with A, D with B, and D with C. So that's all of them. And one thing that's sort of nice is if you have 4 candidates, these are always the comparisons. So let's get started, going in alphabetical order, with A versus B. Since I only care about A and B, let's get rid of everyone else. So now, looking at the chart here, I can figure out that 5 people like A better than B, that's in the second and the last column, and 12 people like B better in the first and the third column. So B is the winner, so I'll mark that down. Now I need to award the points. So since A lost, A gets -1 points, B gets 1. So now, let's do A versus C. Get rid of the people we don't care about. Looking for people who prefer candidate A, and I can see that only 3 of them actually do. Everyone else likes candidate C better. So C is the winner. C wins, award my points. -1 for A, 1 for C. So now let's look at A versus D. A little bit faster here. Since I can't keep rewriting the preference schedule every single time, let's look at another technique here. I look at just the first column to see if these 6 people like A or D better. And I can see that these 6 people prefer candidate D. So I'll move on to the next column, and I can see that these 3 people also like D better. In the next column, these 6 people like D better. And in the last column, well, those people like D better. So D wins. I mean, you could add that together if you want, but it doesn't really matter because it's clearly larger than 2. So D wins, award my points, and that's it for all of the comparisons involving candidate A. So let's look at B versus C a little bit faster. In the first column, I just care about B and C. I see that these 6 people like C better. Next column, looking at B and C, there's 3 people like B better. Next column, got 6 people that prefer candidate B. And in the last column, I've got 2 people that prefer candidate C. So candidate B has 9 points, candidate C has 8 points, candidate B is the winner. And then I award the points there. So now B versus D, a little faster. 6 people in the first column like B better, 3 people like D better, 6 people like B better, 2 people like D better, 12 to 5, B is the winner. Award my points. And C versus D, same idea. 6 people like C, 3 people like D, 6 people like C, 2 people like C. So C wins that round, and I award my points. Now that I've done all the comparisons, the only thing I really care about are the points. So let's keep track of those while I do my totals here. So candidate A has, when I add up all of candidate A's points, negative 3 points. Candidate B has 3 points. Candidate C has 1 point. And candidate D has negative 1 points. So hopefully you can see where all these numbers came from. Now with 3 points, candidate B is the winner. There's one other thing I want to point out here. Candidate B was the winner. If I look at all of the comparisons that involve candidate B is always the winner. And when a candidate wins every single head-to-head comparison that they're involved in, that means that they're the Condorcet winner. So not only is B the Copeland winner, but B is also the Condorcet winner. One thing that's kind of nice is that if you use the Copeland method, that also helps you figure out who the Condorcet winner is pretty easily. So that's nice.